Hey guys, today I'm going to be talking about my conch piercing, which is this bad boy right here. My ears might be red because I just got home and it's real cold out today. So I want to talk about this piercing because I feel like it's worth talking about, of just if you're interested in getting one or if you have one and you're wondering like why are these things happening to me. I wanted to let you know my experience and just some things if you're thinking about getting one, just like pros and cons of the piercing. So yeah, the piercing is basically through like the main hole of your ear, and I'll just let you see it for a second. This is what it looks like. And then I can show you the back of my head. Hopefully it's in focus, I won't be able to tell. And that's what it looks like from the back. Hopefully you can see it. I don't know. So I've had a cartilage piercing before, which I'll actually show you the scar for, is right there. I don't know if you can see that purple little dot. I got that pierced sometime when I was in high school, and I had it for around a year, I think maybe a little over or pretty much a year, and it just never was healing really. It always was agitated, all this stuff, so I finally just took it out. So eventually I took that out just because I already have like sensitive skin and things like that, and I feel like my body sometimes overreacts to things. Like I'll just like touch my chest and it'll be red and itch. So I already have a sensitive skin and things like that. And cartilage piercings or anything that basically isn't on your lobe is kind of known to just irritate your ears. It irritates. Okay. But yeah, any cartilage piercing basically that isn't on your lobe has been known to be very picky and fussy and things like that. So I just wanted to talk about that today. So this was definitely my most painful piercing. I've had my cartilage, I've had doubles, and I've had to re-pierce these myself a couple times. I have my septum and my nose, and I think that's, I have two on this side, but I think those are all the piercings that I've had. And by far the conch was the worst piercing, by far. I'm gonna call it conch. Some people call it conch, and some people call it other things, but I'm calling it a conch piercing, by the way. I think it's because it's a pretty thick like amount of skin. Granted, your lobes is a lot of skin also, but it's like malleable and soft, whereas, you know, cartilage is much stiffer and stuff. So yeah, it was by far the worst piercing I've ever gotten. I was not expecting it because it was kind of a spontaneous piercing. Me and a bunch of my friends all went to get piercings, all different ones. A girl got belly buttons, one girl just got her lobe, all sorts of things. And I knew I wanted a conch, but I was like, oh, let's just go get them today. And yeah, I was not expecting that because I've had, you know, a good amount of piercings before it, but yeah, it was by far the worst pain-wise. It wasn't so painful that I wouldn't do it again, like I would re-pierce if I had to, but just to let you know, it's not as easy as like my nose piercings, I would say, were like the second most painful, and it was worse than that in my opinion, because it also like hurt your head. It almost felt like a headache, like it was this weird feeling, but it only lasted like a minute. So care for piercings, I believe I have a video on how to take care of piercings and all that stuff. If I do, I'll link it in I'll put a little card up. Obviously wash it with soap, antibacterial non-scented soap, and then you do the sea salt soak method, which you can research, but basically I think it's a teaspoon of sea salt and a liter of water that you microwave in just a cup and take a cotton round and like soak on your ear. Hopefully that made sense. I'm just trying to go fast because I'm not focusing on it that much. So I did that for, I don't remember how long the piercer recommended to do that for, but I did it way past that just because I knew this was going to be a bit of a bummer. What did I just say? Just having experience with my cartilage. I mean, this is even more on your ear, so I'd say it's more like affected by just existing. You always have to be careful, like when taking off your shirt. Even now, I got this last December, so it's been over a year. So whenever I take off my shirt, I always like put the ear through first and then I get the rest of my body out just so I won't like nick it. When brushing your hair, you have to be careful. I sleep on my sides and I flip, but I put the pillow now like above my head or kind of behind, or I like cradle, but I never sleep directly on my ear. Whenever I wake up and I'm sleeping directly on my ear, I like slowly lift from the pillow and it just like, it's sore and it's like throbs and it just sucks. So I really try to be careful to position my pillows in a way, but if I wake up that way, it's just I moved in my sleep. I mean, it is a fussy piercing. Now some people will have this piercing and it'll heal and it'll be perfect. They can like twiddle with it and they can tug on it and everything's fine. If I slightly tug on this, it'll be inflamed for the next 2 days. So let me see if I can show you. I don't know. Hopefully I'm in focus, but there's a small bump on either side, but right now I can feel it on the inside. So that bump is pretty much there 24/7. Now it's really small, because I see some girls with cartilage piercings and there's like a very prominent bump. Mine is very small where I can feel it, but if I look in a mirror, it's not that noticeable. Now, if I have a really good week where I'm not sleeping on my ear, I don't bump it in anything, the bump will go away and it'll, on both sides, just be a completely smooth surface with the ring around it. But on days where I irritate it, and it usually lasts 2 days, where it's irritated, the bump will get very big and very noticeable, and my ear will be red just 24/7. Around that area, and it'll be super sensitive, but it'll eventually go back down. It's just like inflamed for a couple of days. Also, this might be like TMI, but not really, because we're talking about piercings, like you're here to learn. Pretty much always there's like crust on either side, especially if it's having an inflamed time. It'll sometimes like ooze a little bit, but if it's good, there's usually no crust or whatever. Sometimes I like pull it away from the ear, but I never detach it from my ear. Like if it's like a scab, I never pick it. But if it's just on the piercing, I will scrape it away on the ring, just so that way it's not like scratching at the hole. But I really do think it's best not to pick at the piercing, but I'm just saying, like, if there's like some like crust or whatever on the ring itself, usually in the shower when it's hot, I'll clean it off. So that way if the ring ever spins around a little bit, it's not irritating the actual, like, the hole. So I would stop the sea salt soakings a couple months after I got it pierced, but then I would say for a good 9 months I would always wash this in the shower. I've stopped washing it just because I didn't see any benefit to and not doing it. Like once I stopped washing it, I didn't notice any difference in how it behaved, so I just don't anymore. But I'm sure it's never a bad thing to wash your ears still in the shower or something like that. I also definitely make sure I get all like shampoos and conditioners and stuff clean off my ear when I'm in the shower, even still, just because I don't want those like chemicals and stuff near my ear. So then for a while, so I had a small bump on my nose, and I used either tea tree essential oil or lavender. I kind of interchanged, so I don't know which one did the good, but eventually the bump went down. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna try it on my ear. It wouldn't sting, but like I could tell it was there. But the thing is it dried my ear out. Like the little bump and all around it would, like there'd be dry skin all around it. You can dilute, and I think they recommend that you dilute the oil with water, so that way you're not putting a strong oil on your ear. And it honestly didn't help because it would be irritated and dry, and I think maybe I'd like kind of try to get the dry skin away. So I don't use essential oils on my ear anymore. I know it's kind of controversial. Some people say you should, and then other people are like, why would you even do that? Like, that's an open wound. Like, don't put essential oils on a wound. I see both sides because it did seemingly help with my nose piercing, but it just is not helping with my conch at all. So I don't use oils anymore. I did for like a month, and then I stopped, and I was like, oh my gosh, my ear, it feels better. So it was not helping my ear. I would say it was just irritating it more.
Also, I forgot to mention the essential oils would also make my ear very itchy.
So yeah, it's a real bummer where some girls can have these piercings, and yeah, it's totally fine. They can sleep on it, they can tug on it, all this stuff. I can't. It is so pesky, and I think probably, I mean, literally the only pro of having this piercing is it looks cool. Like, I think it's such like a statement piece of an ear because it's big. I have a dark hoop, so I think it just really makes your ear look good. Like, compare this ear to this one. I think this one looks so much cooler with the ring in it. That's the only pro. Lots of cons in my opinion. Also, something to note that kind of do as I say, not as I do. I got it pierced with this hoop. Some piercers won't even do it. They'll be like, no, you have to get a bar, let it heal, and then put a hoop in. But the thing is, that's what I did with my cartilage. I got it pierced with just a regular piercing, and it never healed. And so about the last month I had this in, I said, F it, I'm gonna put a ring in, because that's why I got a cartilage piercing, was to eventually have a ring in it. I put it in, it was a bloody, horrible, pussy mess, and it was just super horrible that last month, and then I took it out and I was done. So I knew, at least from past experience, if I got a stud in this, I was like, it's gonna behave the same way. Granted, it might be affected less because the ring can kind of move up and down and it can twist among your ears. So it definitely isn't better for your ear. However, I got a conch piercing to have a ring in it. And I kind of knew in getting the piercing, this isn't going to be one that I can just leave in forever and forget about it. Like, I think about this every single day. Like I said, when I get changed, when I go to bed, all these things when I nap, or, you know, when I brush my hair, all these things, I'm always thinking about this. Even when I hug people, I'm not kidding, if it's one of those like irritated couple of days, it hurts so bad if someone like hugs or like, pushes up against you, you're like, ugh. Also, wearing beanies can irritate this, especially if the beanie's tighter to your head, it can irritate. So there's so many things where it's like, is it worth it? I think about it often, but I think it looks so cool. So I knew going in that it was probably going to be a piercing that I'll have to take out in a couple of years. Like I said, it's been over a year, and I've kept it in, obviously, but I don't think I'll keep it in forever unless it heals miraculously. Now, I've also heard people where they had it in for a year and a half, but then all of a sudden, I guess their body finally adjusted to it, and it's pretty good other than like a couple off days. That's kind of where I'm hoping at. One thing I regret with my cartilage is I took it out about after a year because I was fed up with it. And then I'd hear these success stories from other people that are like, I had my piercing in for 1 year, and then about, you know, the 1.5 year mark, all of a sudden it was fine. It'd get irritated every now and then, but it's way better. And so that's what I'm kind of holding out for the conch piercing, is I think once it reaches 2 years, I'm gonna be like, okay, I'm done, I can't do it anymore. But I'm kind of trying to hold out, because what if in 3 months from now, it's all of a sudden way different and my body's finally like, okay, we're not gonna reject this thing anymore, like we'll adapt. I feel like this video is just a lot of me talking about how sucky it is to have this piercing. I think it looks really cool, I really do, but it just sucks, and I think cartilage piercings just don't do well on me. I've also heard people that they have the bump on their piercing, like the really big one, but it doesn't hurt at all. So there's all sorts of different experiences with cartilage piercings and all this stuff, so don't base your experience solely on mine. I'm just saying, perhaps if you have a cartilage and you're experiencing similar things to me, expect to experience similar things with a conch piercing. But yeah, all in all, I still like it, but eventually I will take it out, and I'm sure people are like, you idiot, like why would you have it if it's such a pain? I like it. Sometimes beauty is pain, you know what I'm saying? I would love to have all sorts of piercings on my ears, but my ears just can't handle it, and that's just the truth. And that's just the truth. I don't know why I said that. It kind of made me sound like a D-bag. So yeah, if you guys have questions about conch piercings or anything like that, feel free to leave them down below. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hopefully this video helped you in some way, and even if not, maybe it didn't make you feel so alone in your conch piercing struggles, because sometimes I'm like, why is everyone else having a great time with their cartilage piercings and mine is a little demon? So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!